Nigeria had to acquire emergency potash fertilizer supplies from Canada in April after being unable to import from Russia owing to the Western sanctions, according to the chair of Nigeria's sovereign investment body, the NSIA. The NSIA head, Uche Orji, declined to comment on pricing. However, according to commodities pricing service Argus Media, spot rates for delivery to West Africa are up more than 250% from last year, dealing a severe blow to the nation's finances. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins us to discuss further. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much.
Morning.
You talked about supply chains and countries being protectionist. What do you make of this potash?
Well, I mean, this is driven principally by one of the unintended consequences of the Russia, the elephant in the room, the Russia-Ukraine war, and that's what is led to this.
Yes.
Just note that before now, between Belarus and Russia, the two countries supply about 38% of the world world need for potash.
Yes.
And Belarus was already initially sanctioned by EEC.
Yes.
European Union, EU, before even the war. And now, with this thing that happened now, Russia joined the table.
Yeah.
And so that has affected the supply of potash. Nigeria used to get substantially all their potash from Russia. And so you can understand what this story is all about.
Yeah.
Now, we know what fertilizer. Fertilizers can be two types. They are organic and inorganic fertilizers. Organic basically come from plants and animals, animal waste, plant waste, and so on and so forth, the natural things. Whereas what the focus has to do now is on the inorganic fertilizers.
Yes.
Driven principally by the three chemical components that plants need: nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. That's where you get the NPK. Now, in Nigeria, the three major fertilizers that you use are the urea, the NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, and then, of course, the superphosphate. And those are the three that are really needed here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can spend the next 1 hour talking about fertilizers here.
Yes.
But we understand the importance of fertilizers. But the issue is that each of them, have the ingredients they give to the plant.
Yes.
It's like, I need to eat protein. You need to eat carbohydrates.
Yes.
You need to eat fats.
Yes.
And carbohydrate cannot stand in for that. That's basically why the principal things are the N, nitrogen, P, phosphorus, and then K, the potassium.
Yeah.
So those are the three elements that the plant needs to survive. And so all this is driven by what's happening in Russia. Russia, the European Union banning trading with Russia.
Yeah.
And Nigeria happened to get all their supplies principally from Russia.
Wow. Can the Dangote refinery save us from this situation?
Like I thought about it, I said we can talk about fertilizer from beginning to end. See, if you move, I said the fertilizer can be, the inorganic fertilizer can be nitrogen standalone, phosphorus standalone, potassium standalone, or what they call compound fertilizers, which has one or two of these elements that first I mentioned, or complete fertilizers, which is like the NPK that has all. Now, urea happens to be an element or a type of the nitrogen fertilizer.
Okay.
So it's just a subset. But just remember what I said. You need fat, you need protein, you need carbohydrates.
Yes.
You need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Yeah.
So one can't supplement the other. What Dangote produces is urea, which is a type of nitrogenous fertilizer.
Gotcha.
And so you will not meet all those the needs. You can't stand in for the potassium.
So over time, I guess we just have to deal with the outcome of this war and just hope that we can resume.
And again, as Dangote fertilizer expands its operation, which I know they intend to, they will expand their production away from urea into the other types of fertilizer. That's when we'll start becoming self-sufficient in things like this.
Chika, what do you make of countries around the world restricting? You mentioned Indonesia, palm oil.
Indonesia is restricting the export of palm oil now. Palm oil now, and every country tries to become insular. It just like it happened during COVID. The quota for rice, quota for wheat export, and so many countries actually shut down the export. my country first before we feed other nations. And he continues along the line that we must continue, tinker with things to ensure that we produce, let me sing that song, we produce what we eat
and eat what
we produce.
Yes.
Indeed, if the items that will have the competitive advantage, which substantially is almost everything, we must intentionally, mark my word, intentionally, diligently, structurally, and professionally work on producing all those ones. And so you have Ukraine sunflower oil, Russia fertilizer and sugar grains, Indonesia palm oil, Turkey butter, beef, lamb, and so every country is trying to restrict things, because if we could keep exporting, our nationals may not have what to eat.
Gotcha. Break, just a minute or two. The marginal fee, the stakeholders wanting
there have been a lot of balls about this last marginal fee bid round.
Yes.
Excuse me. And there have been, you can only say that losers will be losers, winners will be winners.
Yeah.
But the lot of labs thought about the lack of opacity, but those who won will say no, it was transparent.
Yeah.
But we see things like that. But the beautiful thing is this, or the most important thing is this, that what is the objective for the country?
Yeah.
The objective is that those who won should migrate to oil field development.
Yes.
So that the initial projection was from these 57 oil fields that were put on the hammer, we're going to get about 100 million barrels per day from that. Now, if they don't migrate from this bidding stage to oil field development, that will not happen. And so a lot of the stakeholders are saying that the bidding round costs were so expensive, and the government should look into that, so that those who won will have resources to move to oil field development, which should be the government objective, not amassing revenues at the bidding phase. That the bidding phase should actually be minimal cost, so that people will have resources to develop the oil fields and produce oil required to enlarge our capacity and reserve capacity.
Chika, you're not a lawyer, but what are the chances of it being reversed? I mean, they will fight it legally. You're not gonna,
No, I don't think it will be. I don't think it doesn't look business sense. It doesn't make legal and business sense even to reverse it, despite the protests. I don't have all the details, but as I keep telling you, if you talk to people who did the process, they will tell you that winners will be winners.
Yeah.
Losers will always complain.
Final point, them saying, the protesters saying that the amounts were too high, and but the government needs revenue. So, what?
It's a balance between drive for revenue through the sign-on fees and the fact that which is short-term revenue. But the bigger revenue is what? Actually prospecting the oil fields and get oil coming in. There's PPT and royalties that will come to the government. That's the thing. So you don't have a situation where people, win the bids and they never move to the oil field development. So even that speaks to the process. Again, how did the DPL now the upstream regulatory commission, how do they do these things to make sure that apart from assessing your capability of being able to pay your sign-on bonus, you must also have fund to do oil field development, not all this kind of fund arrangement that people have, and then get into JVs that after that they don't work, or they spend all the time fighting in court of who owns what, which happens very often.
This is the new administration coming in. This is something else that they have to now fix when they come in. All right, business analyst Chika Mbona. Chika, thank you so much for joining us to talk about these issues. We appreciate your insights. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Horizon.